I recruit in the digital sector in the Southwest, and here to share some findings from our Aptus Guide initiative that we've been running for the last year or so. So there's going to be a lot of data to throw at you here. In hindsight, I probably got a little bit carried away when I was putting this together, so I do apologise. I'll be running through things at pace, but I think these slides will be available afterwards, and yeah, by all means, just come and have a chat if there's anything you want me to expand upon. Okay, so jumping into a quick background. So Aptus were established in the UK in 2012. I joined in late 2015. Now, a quick show of hands, are there any people who have relocated into the Southwest from outside of the area? Few of us. Hi guys. So, as you may guess from my accent, I'm also a relocator. I think, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's quite evident from coming down here that there are a few kind of unique challenges that the Southwest face. And from a recruitment perspective, it's generally around talent attraction and retention. So the clients that I speak with, they tell me that there isn't enough talent in the area. The candidates that I speak with, they tell me that there isn't enough opportunity in the area. And so we almost wanted to challenge these perceptions. So we had an idea in September of last year, and that idea grew to become what is now the Aptus Guide. Okay, so the idea was to do two surveys, essentially, that could produce two sets of guides. So we do a survey on employers that can produce a guide for employees, and we do a survey on employees that can produce a guide for employers. Now, the employee guide, we did the survey at the start of this year. It was released in February, and that essentially is providing information to employees, just essentially to showcase the Southwest digital and creative sectors. Lots of useful information in there. And the second guide that we're running at the moment, we're conducting a survey on employees to essentially provide valuable insights to employers, just in regards to, I suppose, that whole kind of retention aspect. So insights to help them realign their recruitment and retention policies. Now, it's the findings from, or the preliminary findings from this survey that I'm looking to delve into today. Okay, so jumped into terminologies. We asked people in the survey what their most relevant skill set is. And from that, we've kind of developed these job families, as you can see there. So if you can just remember your, I suppose, most relevant job family there, and we'll come back to that a little bit later on. But we also asked them level of seniority. So as you can see, we've grouped that into entry level, skilled, middle management, senior management. Now, we asked people on their age, salary that they're earning at the moment, as opposed to as well their expected salary, but then also their salary progression over the last 5 years, where they project their salary to be in the next 2 years, amount of former employers that they've had, amount of years in their job, and also as well in terms of their employment status. So are they full-time employed, part-time, self-employed? So here we've got the average profile, essentially average person who completed the survey, so 36 years of age, earning around about 34,000. Good little spread, I suppose, in terms of their level of seniority, where they fit into the job families, and then also their employment status. Now, quick side note on the salary. Just wanted to, I suppose, compare our salaries to those of the Set Nation. So you can see there's a slight difference in terms of the two surveys that we've completed, both employer-employee and then Set Nation for Plymouth and Set Nation for Exeter. But on the whole, it generally means around about 35,000, essentially, is the average salary. Okay, so we asked people in terms of benefits and what's important to them. Flexible working hours seems to be the most important, and it's also one of the joint highest that people receive, so that's perfect. And on the right-hand side over there, check this out if that works. It doesn't work, okay. You can see on the right-hand side, it's essentially motivations. So we've got like 8 different factors that we ask people to order in terms of what's most important to them, but then also what keeps them in their current job. So as you can see there, work-life balance and job satisfaction essentially keeps people in their current job. However, they fall below salary in terms of what's most important. So, on the salary, I tried to mine through all the data that we received to essentially see if there are any trends, any conflicts in terms of, I suppose, where the salary is the biggest issue. We found 2 really interesting benchmarks. So people who earn under 32 years of age, their average salary as opposed to where they expect their salary to be, there's a massive difference there of almost 16%, whereas the people who are over 32, the difference is only 2.7. And then also people who are earning under 27,000, there's a massive jump there of 27% or 28% nearly, as opposed to just 4.1% for people who are earning over 27,000. So delving into the motivations of these particular demographics, people who are 32 years and under essentially prioritise job satisfaction and salary as the most important to them, but in terms of whether that keeps them in the job, that's quite low on the scale. If you look at people who are over 32, those top three priorities, work-life balance, salary and job satisfaction, also match what keeps them in their current job, so possibly they're more content. Looking at the lower and higher earners, so people who earn 27,000 and under, again, very, very similar in terms of the people who are aged 32 and under, and exactly the same on those people who are earning over 27,000 in terms of where their priorities are and what keeps them in their current jobs. So it's kind of identified there that there's possibly like kind of a high-risk element for those lower profiles, essentially, in terms of the people who are earning under 27,000, people who are under 32 years of age, possibly more likely to leave their current employer. Challenges. So looking at these demographics, we asked in terms of what challenges they feel they face in the Southwest. The top three across the board: sourcing job opportunities, earning sufficient salary, and then also lack of career progression. The other three that we've got there don't really feature highly at all. So in terms of what we can take from this data, so younger people and lower earners, they feel massively underpaid and struggle to progress their careers. However, they achieve a strong work-life balance, and they do see that as a priority as well. Older and higher earners are generally happier overall, so essentially what keeps them in their current job matches their priorities, so that's great. However, higher earners find it harder to source opportunities and progress their careers. Enhanced benefits, I don't know if any of you noticed, but enhanced benefits was pretty much at the bottom of the pile there throughout. So again, questioning whether or not that's important to people. Also as a location, a little bit of an oddity, it's what keeps people in their current role. It's quite high there, but then it's not actually seen as a priority. And finally as well, on the career guidance, or the lack of career guidance in Southwest, generally people don't see that as being an issue. But if we go back to the three challenges that they face in terms of sourcing job opportunities, earning sufficient salary, and then finally progressing their careers, if they are essentially such an issue, then I'd question whether or not career guidance is being properly utilised. So going further on the salary front, we asked people about the number of employees that they've had, just so we could kind of mine through and see if there was any essentially benefit of switching employers more frequently. So if we look across the board here, those who have remained loyal to their employers generally earn less across the board than those who've had more jobs. And the funny thing is about the people who've had more jobs is I actually think that they earn a bit too much, according to the findings. But when we go a little bit further in terms of the people that have progressed up the ladder and looking at kind of the age at which they've got to that particular level, those who've had less jobs and have remained more loyal to one or two employees throughout their career generally get to those middle management and senior management positions at an earlier age. So the contrast is there, essentially, stay loyal if you want to progress. So finally, before we move into the job families, just wanted to look at when salary isn't a priority. So people who listed salary in the bottom three, essentially. We've got an average profile here. Generally, senior management seems to be the bulk of it. Their top three motivations and benefits are essentially feeling valued, the people and the culture, and also job satisfaction. And interestingly enough, even though salary isn't a priority to them, they still expect their earnings to be 20% higher. So, quick show of hands, developers in the room who fell into the developer. Okay, this slide is for you. Now, essentially what we've got here is we've got the average person in terms of their age and their salary who completed it. And so as we can see, age 31, just under 30,000. Salary is of most important to developers, but work-life balance actually falls down the pecking order. We've got some comparisons there between junior positions and senior positions in terms of current salary, expected salary, but then also as well the last 5 years salary increase, and then also projections for the next 2 years. And at the bottom, just picking out a few case studies in terms of very similar age groups and level of seniority, and essentially the one jobs against more jobs, and how the salaries compare there. So that's developers. Designers, show of hands. Few. Okay, so typically the designers were higher age and also as well earning a little bit more. I won't go into the full spiel again. Oh, I think we're missing a slide on marketing. Missing a slide. Okay, we're missing a slide on marketing, sorry guys. But on to operations. Finally, was there anybody, a show of hands I suppose, of people who work in the digital and creative sectors who feel like their skill set wasn't actually represented up there? No? That's good. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so the points to consider from there. Top three priorities are work-life balance, salary, and job satisfaction. They're the key drivers. Salary edges the other two. Essentially, progression opportunities not a priority across the board, and again, enhanced benefits packages were down there as well. Switching employers is possibly more beneficial to developers if salary is the biggest priority. And salary increases, senior employees have benefited from higher increases over the past 5 years. Unsurprisingly, junior employees are more optimistic of where their salary is going to be in the next 2 years. So in summary, a little bit of value for you to take away. So employers in the room, potentially look to review the salaries of those people who we consider high risk, which are those who are under 32, earning less than 27,000, or just simply developers. Now, essentially, if you can't review their salaries, ensure that they achieve a job satisfaction and suitable work-life balance, because that should appease. And also as well, hardly anyone prioritises the enhanced benefits package, so take from that as you will. Employees, you may have to sacrifice the work-life balance for higher salaries. Also stay loyal if you want to progress up the ladder. And graduates as well, if you're a recent graduate and you're looking to progress your career in digital sectors, the skill sets that we found are in most high demand: back-end developers, technical SEO, PPC, account managers, and business development as well. There seems to be the most sought after. Developers seem to be the highest paid. So that's everything from me. What next? You can download the employee guide. That's available on our website. URL is there. If there's any further information you'd like, we are open to doing bespoke reports based on data that we've found. So please, by all means, drop us an email or come and speak to us after. There's also my colleague Tom, who's over there. He's the director of the business. And if you could help us as well by completing the survey, like the data that we, I suppose, are at the moment. I think we had around about just over 100 surveys. The more we get, the more accurate, the more precise that we can be with our findings. So if you head over to our Twitter page, Aptus IT Digital, pin tweet, there's a link in there to the survey. It takes around about 4 to 5 minutes or so to complete, and there are some incentives as well for people completing that. So that's everything.